Hello, everybody. Had a little bit of an issue getting connected, but here we are. We're live. Everything is golden. Oh my gosh! I had to actually close down my browsers and restart the browsers, not the computer. Don't know what was going on. Such is life when you are doing live demos and streaming and all that fun stuff. Okay. Woohoo! So, what I have in store today for everybody. Hi, Donna. Hi, Linda. Thank you again, Linda, for your support. So, what I have this episode, I'm going to bind at least one, maybe two of my little sample quilts that I have to take with me to St. Louis. So, I'm going to try to power through. I have 3 to do. I don't know if I can power however many I can get done in 2 hours. I'm going to get it done. And then tonight at 6, I'm starting a new project. There'll still be binding episodes, but there will also be tonight, the first episode. We'll be making this quilt top here. It's by Colorworks, and it's called Mod Dog. Right here. Oops. This is what I will be doing live on camera, my next quilt top live, and that begins tonight. This is a pattern, so I cannot give out measurements of what I'm cutting unless because this is not my pattern. You will see me put it together as far as that goes, but I cannot give out the actual sizes of the pieces that I'm going to be cutting. There's a layout for it. You can kind of see that. I won't leave it open long, but this is what the finished quilt top will look like. The applique dogs are pieced. You'll see how it's done. Tonight, I will be piecing together these 2 background strips. I already have everything cut. This is a pattern you can currently purchase. There are Amazon links in some of my videos. If you click on an Amazon link, and then search for this, you can find it. If you would like to purchase this pattern from me, I can put in an order and have them in about 5 to 7 days. So on the next episode of this, we can talk about that. If there's enough people interested, I will order these patterns and mail them to you. Okay? So, woohoo. This is what we're doing tonight at 6. Right now we are doing quilt binding, and I began that process last night. You see it hanging on me, hanging up on the wall and behind me. Ooh, okay, so I need more caffeine, can you tell? Let me have some more of my coffee. Hi Janelle, hi Karen. Karen, are you getting a lot of smoke from those Canadian wildfires up in the Northwest Territory? That looks horrible up there. Oh my gosh. So last night I used the dynamic walking foot. Today I'm not going to do that. I'm using feet that actually came with the machine. That dynamic walking foot did not come with my Allegro. Let me swap my camera and I'll show you the 2 feet that I'm going to be using today. There we go. So one I have on, and this is a straight stitch foot. Okay, this came with the machine. You see it's a straight stitch only. And this little side right here that my finger is touching, if you go out here to the edge from the needle, that's a 1/4 inch. Straight stitch foot. I know these also come with the Solaris and the Altair and some other machines as well, the Destiny. And then this also came with the Allegro. I'm going to be using the open-toed foot that came with it. And Karen, I wasn't aware there was a wildfire in Spokane. And let's see, thread that I'm using. So I have a lot of thread, everybody. You know, I do quilt for other people on my long arm. So the thread I am using right now in my bobbin, and I'll bring this over here where you can see it. This is Superior So Fine 50 weight. Right here it's a variegated. Right there, this is the thread that I'm using. Oops, there we go. So Fine, color number is 720 on that. Woohoo! Okay, put that back. And I am using an external thread stand since I'm using a large cone. It's all good. There we go. Okay. Now I think we're all set. Let me put my foot up here. This is all set good. Okay, we are good to go. Good to go. Woohoo. Let's see how many bindings we can do. Okay, as on the episode last night, I described how I cut my binding. All of my binding today is with that same message. Hi, Christina. Well, Karen, with all of that big system coming into Southern California, that should clear out the smoke because those winds will travel much further than just California. As you can see here, I'm doing it like I did. This is how I always do my binding. This shows up better on camera. There is that fold. 2.5 inch strip. Oops. 2.5 inch strip. Cut a 45-degree angle. Wrong side, right side. Fold it in about approximately 1/4 inch. Press it. Fold it in half. Press the entire length. And now we get to sew it down. Okay. Let me get my glasses on so I can see. There we go. Okay, and I am doing straight stitch with a 3.0 stitch length, so that would be a 3mm length. Since my hand is right in the way, I'm going to swap to my other little camera so you'll get a better view of that. Let's see here. Right there. There we go. Okay. There we go. It up and cut it. I stopped approximately 1/4 inch from the edge. You see there, about 1/4 inch. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come up here, and about 6 inches from my angle right here, so about 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches, I'm going to sew through all the layers, and then I'll come back down to the corner and cut it so that I can do my fold. Okay. And then I'm going to do my fold here. Notice I just pull it over this way, and then when that lines up, and I finger press right there, there's my 45-degree angle for my fold. And guess what? I already messed it up, everybody. I stitched it to the front. I'm not going to hand sew it, so bear with me. I got to rip this out. I was jabberjawing and wasn't paying attention. Okay, so yeah, you get to see me rip out some stitches just to start everything off. It's all good. There we go. And I will actually have to use a seam ripper. If I'd done this this part on using that chain stitch on my serger, and I could have done this a whole lot quicker, this ripping out part, but you know what, it's all good. Keeps us on our toes. Let's just take a minute or two to rip. Oh, come on, you. Behave now. There we go. There we go. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday. Isn't that the truth, Donna? It always happens when I start talking. I'm not paying complete attention, and I just start jabber-jawing. I'm more than likely going to make some kind of a boo-boo. I have done this more than once, even when I'm off camera. I was always so used to hand sewing binding down. In that case, if I was going to hand sew this down, this would have been the proper way to have done it, was to attach it to the front to flip to the back. Okay. Yeah, it's getting there. Okay, that wasn't that bad. Now, let's turn it so the back of the quilt is facing up before we do anything else. Let me pull some of these loose threads. There we go. Now then, let's start that over. It's all good. There we go. So I'm sewing the binding to the back of the quilt. And right there where I stopped, I'll just back it up about an inch and keep on going to the end. I'm glad I caught that when I did. I have in the past attached the binding to half of the quilt like this before I caught my boo-boo and had to rip all that out, so it could have been much worse. Well, Stephanie, because by doing that, check it out here. There's where I unfolded it, then I stopped. Let me go to my other camera. There we go. So there's my binding double folded. When I start, I open it up and I sew 4 to 6 inches down, fold it over, and then where I stopped, then I keep on going, because then when I get all the way around, I will tuck the end of my binding in here, fold that back over, and then stitch it all the way down to where I started. And then I just encase the end of my binding in that pocket, and that's how I join my binding. That's why I do that. I literally do all of my quilts that way, even my show quilts. Quilts that I enter into a competition, I do them the same way. down the next side to the next corner. And on this one, for my binding, I did use the same fabric as what the background of my serger embroidery is, right here. That was a great question, though, Stephanie. Everyone, I do keep my eye on that chat window, so if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask. Stop a 1/4 inch away from the raw edge of the quilt. Okay. I'll fold it over, finger press, so 45-degree angle, then fold it back so it lines up with the raw edge of the quilt, and start sewing again. Turn another corner. Oh, you're welcome, Stephanie. Yes, when I started doing my binding that way, I never looked back. For my start and stop on my binding, so much easier. And it gives a beautiful finish. Which, if you're hand stitching your binding down, if you're machine stitching your binding down completely, 100% do it that way. You can do it if you hand stitch it down as well. Okay, we're getting close up here to the end. I'm going to stop. So now when I get here, okay, there's my opening flap, okay? So I'm gonna lay it over my binding, and I'm gonna come down about 1 inch past this 1/4 right here. About 1 inch down to right here. Fold this down, and then I'm gonna snip my excess binding off, following that 45-degree angle, approximate, I'm not measuring the angle. Then I just fold that down into it, fold this flap over, and then I just finish stitching it down. Smooth that out a little bit. Here we go. And then you just stitch down till you get on top of the stitching where you started. And that is done. Now I'm going to cut my thread. Donna, I have not had that issue whatsoever. You can access the motifs, but not the fills folder. Turn your machine off, turn it back on, turn it off, wait 10 or 15 seconds, and turn it back on, and see if that fixes the problem. Have you ever accessed that fill folder before? If you have never accessed the fill folder before and that's a new stick, you may have to take it back and swap it out for a new one. Okay. So there we are. Now, normally I glue my corners down, but you know what? I'm not going to do it the way I normally do it on this one. However, I am going to trim the tips here off just because it will actually lay squarer that way. Yeah, do I want to glue or do I? You know what? I am going to glue it because I just know I'll get a more perfect result that way. I'm going to trim all 4 of my corners first. Okay. Get those little tidbits cleaned up real quick. Let me get my glue. A hand of clips. Okay. And here we go. I'll put a dab of glue right in the corner. My little 3-dot method. And just like wrapping up a package or an envelope, I'm going to fold it in on top of the glue up to that corner. I'm going to put down a clip. I'm going to come back and fold it back over to make my 45-degree miter. Fold it over, then I'm going to clip it again. I'm going to clip it right on the miter. Right there. Past the miter. Right there. Then I like to use a total of 5 clips in the corner. I'm going to do this to all 4 corners. Once I get back to this corner, however, I'm going to put a pin right here so I'll remember where I started, because I'll start stitching here on this corner right here. Yes, Karen, any water-soluble fabric glue will work. However, a fabric stick glue would not work as well. It needs to be a liquid glue. And we'll do the next corner. I wouldn't use just a regular water-soluble glue like Elmer's, simply because the chemicals in it are not formulated for fabric. And what I mean by that, some chemicals can deteriorate fabric. And in things like Roxanne's fabric glue, which is what I use, and I'm not getting paid to say this, everybody, it's just what I use. I like it. It is chemically safe. There's no large amount of acid in that glue that will cause fabric to break down. I hope that made sense. Okay. Let's get another one done. I'm going to back this up a bit and raise it up some. There we go. Okay. All I'm doing, I'm holding my hand down. I got my finger right on that corner that I trimmed. I'm just gently pulling out the excess. Then I will apply my glue right in that corner, a dot. Then a gobbledygoo there and a gobbledygoo right there. And then you can see those 3 white dots. That is my glue. Okay. I'll fold this one in first. Clip it. Bring this up to make my fold. And back down. That will be my miter in the corner. Right there. When you're happy with it, clip it. Okay. And we'll put another one right here. One just a little ways past that. And one right past this one. And that is now 3 of my 4 corners. If I am doing a large quilt, king, queen, whatever, any quilt I do this to the same way on the corners of all of my quilts. Yes, Donna, it's very inexpensive. I don't remember what I paid for this 2-ounce bottle, but I've been using it for 3 years now, and I've just went past the halfway mark, and I make a lot of quilts with it. I've made a lot of quilts with it. And this product has been around for quite some time also. Yeah, so Janelle, the V-foot was actually a foot that was used by the Elissimo. So, and what that did is, on the Elissimo, it used the built-in camera to maintain the seam allowance. Well, the new machines today do not use that, do not do that. So that's why the V-foot is not included. If you want the V-foot, you could totally buy it. It's a foot that looks like it's got a little bit of a ruler on it. Yeah, but that's why a V-foot does not come with your Solaris. It also does not come with the Altair. I don't think it came with the Destiny either. I could be wrong on that. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure the V-foot they stopped including that V-foot with when the Elissimo series came to an end. I have an Elissimo Gold too, and it does have that V-foot. But it's a little foot with a ruler on the end, and the camera with marks, so the camera could actually use that foot and the multi-directional feed dogs to maintain whatever seam allowance you set that seam to be. No, Christina, I store this just sitting up like that. That's some great questions. Okay, I'm gonna get me a drink of my coffee, and then we're gonna stitch this puppy down, and we'll move on to the next one. I have used the V-foot the way on the Elissimo, and it's really cool. But I will tell you, it is slow. Absolutely, Karen. And everybody, that V-foot is still available for purchase. It'll fit. It will fit on a Solaris or any of our machines like that. Because it would even work here on this machine. Okay, so I'm going to take a brief intermission and I'm going to go grab that V-foot so everyone can know what we're talking about. Okay, take about a 5-minute break. I got to go get that out of an area. There we go. Okay, I am back. Didn't take as long as I thought. I'm gonna sit here and have a little bit of coffee. Okay, let's get to a different camera. Hello, hello, hello. Right there, there we go. Alrighty. Just let that glue dry just a moment longer. So I went in there to where the Elissimo is set up, and out of its box, this is what the V-foot looks like, everyone. Right here. There it is. That is the V-foot. And these marks on here, those are those 1/8 of an inch marks like Karen is talking about. So what this did, how this foot was used with the Elissimo Gold, it had the built-in digital camera. The built-in digital camera, and as you fed the fabric under here, it would adjust the edge of the fabric to line up with whatever seam allowance you said for the machine to maintain. Because it would use the multi-directional feed dogs to adjust the fabric position to maintain that seam allowance. It was really a cool feature, but like I said, it went at one speed, and it went at one speed only when you do that. So I think that's probably, and with the new laser pointers and laser seam guides the newer machines have, I think that's why that feature went away. Okay, that is the V-foot right here. It is still available. You can contact your Baby Lock. You can contact your Baby Lock retailer, and they can order one of these in for you. And they're not that expensive. I'm not 100% sure. Probably around $20, I would guess. V-foot. Okay. So let's go back over here to our other little handy camera. Karen, I never thought about using it that way. I will totally try that out. Oh, I like the presser feet too, Karen. You can never have too many. Okay. There we go. Let's move the mouse. I'm going to give me a sip of my water. Okay, so there's my pin. I know that's where I need to start. And I'm going to do a single straight stitch top stitch all the way around. Now as I took that off of that corner, here is why I like to glue base. Check it out. There's my corner That clip is gone, but it is staying in place, everybody. Pretty cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to line it up so my needle drop comes down right on that miter fold. I've never used this foot for this, so we're going to see how this works out. Here we go. I'm going to back it up a couple of stitches, and then we can just take off with it. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to cut it. So that is really difficult to see where your fabric is landing. If you can see that, it's right at the edge, and that's okay, but I missed it right there because you cannot see where the needle is hitting your fabric. So I'm going to move it to a different foot that came with this machine. I'm going to use this open-toed foot right here. Here we go. This open-toed foot is the one that I'm going to use. I'll finish this line. I'm going to go over where I started, simply because I wasn't quite pleased with the consistency of the layout. Here we go. Now I can see right where that fabric drops. Much better already. I will tell you this, using the same fabric for the binding as what this background is makes it even more difficult to see and focus exactly where the edge of that is. It really blends in well. I'm going to rip out just a little bit right here. There we go. That better. There we go. When I get down to this next corner, I'm going to break my thread. We're going to try that V foot on here and see how that plays on this machine. It's looking good though. It's a looking good. See, I have all of the clips off right here, and that corner is just staying perfectly laid down. Really does make it so you get such a much better smooth mitered corner on your binding by using glue, everybody. That is the bomb. That is the trick. Okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to back this up a couple of stitches. Forward one or two, and then I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to change the foot to that V foot that we were just talking about just a few minutes ago. Just try it and use it as a top stitching foot like Karen does. Here, get back there, you. Here we go. Okay. Okay, Karen, I see what you mean by that. I am totally digging that. Okay. Once I get it going here, I'll move the camera so y'all can get a better look at this. It was not meant for quilt binding. It's not wanting to come down for that thick corner very well. There we go. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to move the camera. Try to be as smooth as I can. There we go. Let it focus. Now you can see those red marks. That very first red mark right here, that is where the needle, right now, that's the needle drop position. Oh, you're fine, Coralie. Hello. Okay. So let's continue. Totally digging using this foot for top stitching. My only, for binding, the only thing I would say is when you get to a corner, it doesn't want to feed as well because of all of that thickness on that binding. Right now we're going over our join, so there's some thickness here as well. Let's see how it does on that. Let me get my little green thing. There we go. Purple thing. I think I said green thing. It's not green, it's purple. There we go. We can take out some more clips. Yeah, so that foot, it originally was released with the Elissimo series of machines, but then after the laser pointers and the laser seam guides came out, beginning with the Destiny, that's when they did away with this particular featured foot. The foot is still available for purchase. It fits, this is the Allegro, it even fits the Allegro. I know it fits the Altair and Solaris as well. Okay. Oh my If you heard those beeps right then, if you try to make this machine go with the presser foot up, it will not sew. Which that's a wonderful safety feature that I like. Where's my little pokey stick at? Where'd I lay that at? Where did you go? Hold on. Well, okay. Don't see my green, my purple thing stick, so I'm gonna use this. It's just to hold down the edge of that binding. Normally, when I do binding, everybody, I'm using a digital dual feed foot, but this is working out well. Okay. When I'm in St. Louis next week, I'm going to pick up some more feet that I don't currently have. And then I can demo them to you all. This will be the last side. So I'm going to end up finishing attaching the binding on this one with that V foot. For the next one, I will go pick out I know the foot I'll use on the next one. It's the actual binding, it's one of the actual binding feet, the bi-level feet that Sarah Gallegos designed for Baby Lock. And we'll use that foot for the next one. Okay. I've had these quilted for a while. Karen, I could totally see this foot would really shine on garment sewing for sure. Because many times in garment sewing you need several different size seam allowances depending what you're doing. And this would be the perfect foot for that, for sure. Okay, now all my clips are all off. Coming down to the last corner. And we'll back it up, do a back stitch, and we'll cut. Okay. there it is. There, this one is now complete. You can get a closer look at that binding, stitching. And I'm going to swap to a different camera so you can get a better view of my little, this, I created this to really highlight the 12 weight Madeira metallic threads, because all the stitching on the top of this quilt was done with that thread. Okay, so let me get my mouse, swap to this other camera, right here, there we go. So, if I hold that up right here, you can see all that texture. Oh, Janelle, yes, Christina, it's a binding foot. I'm going to use that on the next one here in just a moment. But here's my little, this is my sample quilt that all of the serger embroidery was done with Madeira 12 weight metallic threads. Just get at some different angles here. You can see all that. Woohoo. Beautiful. It's the back, it's the front. This one's done. Yay. Okay, so I'm gonna do another one. I think I told everybody earlier what I'm doing. These are some of my samples I'm taking to Baby Lock Tech next week. I just want to get all my bindings, as many of my bindings done as I can. So the next one, I have one more serger embroidery quilt top done on batiks. There's my binding strips. This is a chocolate, different shades of chocolate brown batik for that. Let me go grab this other foot. Think, here it is. I got it. Yeah, I have a drawer over here that I keep all of my accessory feet in their original packaging in. But this is the quilt binding foot designed by Sarah Gallegos, right here. BLSA-QBF is the item number on that foot. And yes, it has the little button, just like our J feet has. If you look at the bottom of that, this side is thicker than this side. So when that sits on a quilt, as you'll see, it will go around the edge of the quilt like this, right here. Yes, BLSA QBF, Christina, that is correct. Okay. So this time I'm going to flip my quilt. So I start with the back of the quilt to the front, and like that. Yes, Linda, I will be after Baby Lock Tech. I am doing, let's see, starting in October. Let's see, I go to Geneva, Illinois, the weekend of September the 9th. The weekend after Labor Day weekend. And then I will be going the first week in October to Naples, Florida. Actually, Punta Gorda for the first Flash Sewing Expo. And then the next week I will be in Cincinnati for a Sewing Expo. The week after that, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. The week after that, Fairfield, Ohio. And let's see, then I have after that I think I'm going to Novi and the Novi Sewing Expo in Michigan, and after that I am going to Appleton, Wisconsin. Or something like that. Okay. And I should see Sarah next week at the Baby Lock convention. Okay, so I'm going to put on my straight stitch foot that I used earlier to attach the binding. Just like before, same deal as far as that goes. I've already prepped my binding with the 45-degree cut. There we go. Flat folded over. This does not show up well on camera. This is really dark fabric. And I'll just start in the middle or thereabouts. Let me go over here back to my other camera. We'll get this one stitched down. Right there. I'm going to back it up. Try to get a better angle on it this time. There we go. There we go. Oops, almost forgot. Gotta change my threads on this because I gotta wind a bobbin. I'm using this thread right here. It's this rich mocha brown thread that will look nice for that binding. But I'm going to have to wind a bobbin. Take that one out. Not going to use the thread that I currently have in it, so let me get that out. I almost started sewing with that light colored thread. I would have had to rip that one out, everybody. Okay. Let's get a bobbin wound. Okay. which foot, Coralie. The one I'm getting ready to use, that straight stitch foot, it comes with the Altair and the Solaris, if that's what you're asking me. The one I'm using is actually the one that came with the Allegro. Okay, ready to wind that bobbin. Snip my excess thread. Yes, Linda, that is actually called, there are bi-level feet, and then Sarah redesigned them when she was with Baby Lock, and this foot is what she came up with. It's actually called the quilt binding foot, QBF. This foot does not come with the machine. That is an optional purchase. The one that I am using, getting ready to use, is this foot right here. And that does come with the machine. This came with the Allegro, and also a foot like this comes with the Altair and the Solaris as well. If you still have the Destiny, it came with that machine as well. It comes with a few other machines also from Baby Lock. Now let's get our bobbin cover back on. There we go. Okay. Then we'll thread our needle. Oops. Get out there, you. There we go. Thread the needle, everybody. That's what I'm currently doing. Come on, get under there, you. There we go. For those of us that are used to a machine with push button threading, it takes a little bit of practice to get used to doing it this way again. But I'm getting better. Or so I say. Once you get used to it, this is really a great threading mechanism. I'm just not used to it yet. Oh, come on, you. Let me cut my thread. I'm just going to cheat and use my fingers. Hand cramps, that's part of my problem today. No, you don't, Cora. Okay, now we're all set. Let me do a quick test sew on a piece of scrap. Make sure I'm stitching properly. I always like to do a test run. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. Now we are ready to begin sewing. Woohoo! Okay. And I'll open that binding up for about the first 6 inches. There, I'm gonna cut it. Then I'll start stitching right on top of where that previous stitching is. What I've done, I've just created a pocket for the end of my binding to fit into when I get all the way back around. There we go. Once again, this is one of my Serger embroidery samples. They also make great toppings for small accent tables, the middle of a dining room table, all kinds of uses for smaller quilted items like this. I like to make a lot of items like about this size because I like to use them to decorate with in my home. Come into the next corner. Fold it up, finger press at 45 degrees, bring it down the next side, finger press, and fit it under the foot and keep on sewing. Oh, Allison, how are you? Have you started getting rain down there yet? I've been watching the weather forecast for everyone in Southern California. Okay. See, I got one more corner past this one to turn, and we'll be back at our starting point. So, as y'all know, I just got this machine. It was delivered yesterday. And the more I sew on it, the more I like it, I have to tell you. Just from plain old sewing, with this nice 12-inch throat space, it is really super nice. And it's really a great price. I'm not trying to sell you a machine, everybody. Most of y'all already own 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 of them. But for the price of this, it's hard to beat. I mean, the MSRP on this machine is $15.99. But most retailers will probably give you a better deal than that. Always worry I won't make enough bindings, so I usually make, I always make more than enough binding. Which is going to be the case with this one as well, but that's okay. I save my binding pieces that are left over, and then I can always sew those together to make another multicolored binding when the time fits. I'd rather make too much binding than not enough. That's a good thing, Allison. I know everyone in your part of the country can use the moisture. I just be careful and keep an eye on the weather, please. That flash flooding is nothing to joke about. So I'm going to come down here and trim off my excess. Right there's my fold. So I'll come a little better than an inch away, cut that off at an angle. As you can see, I do have some leftover binding. It's about, 24 inches of binding left over. It's all good. It goes in the kitty. Nothing else, I could always press it and use it as part of a 2.5-inch strip, because that's what they're cut at. And there we go. That is all done. Trim off any excess threads. Okay. Woohoo. Now then, I'm going to get out my basting glue right there. I'm going to get my heavy duty scissors and I'm going to trim my corners. By trimming the corner a little bit, and I'm not taking out a whole lot, but that will make the corners much more sharp and crisp. They'll just turn better. You'll get a much better 45-degree miter in your corners by doing this. And I'll try to do it where you can see. I'm just angling about 1/2 inch from the edge and just angling it towards that seam line that that is sewn right there, and staying about 1/8 of an inch away from the stitching. Is what I'm after. I did a 1/4 inch seam. And my 4 corners, once I'm done trimming, that's all there is, just those little slivers right there. Okay. Now I'm going to turn and clip all 4 of my corners just like I did on the previous one, the previous 2. My puppy is snoring. I just heard him. He likes to snore and sleep on his little couch in here. He has a little Victorian doggy couch here by my sewing machine that he sleeps on. And I personally like to put 5 clips total in my 4 corners. Right there like that. Okay, then move on to the next one. This little quilt here has 12 blocks. The blocks, when I cut the blocks, before they were sewn together, I cut them at 10 inches square, which is layer cake size. All thumbs this today. Okay. Here's 2. Let's do another one. Let's get that other one going on. And everybody, after I go out of town Thursday morning, and I won't be back until the following Tuesday night. So that means from Thursday through Tuesday of this coming week, I will not be online. I'm going to try to stream from the convention. Don't know how that'll work. It'll be from my phone. I can't guarantee anything, but I will try. I will at the very least do a walk around video so y'all can see what the Baby Lock convention looks like. I will at least shoot video. I'm going to try to do it live. We'll see what happens. It is being held at Union Station in downtown St. Louis, which is now a Hilton property, but they took the old train station and Hilton turned it into a boutique hotel. And that's where our convention is being held this year. Luckily, I'm only 3.5 hours away from there, so I'm just driving down. I didn't have to fly, which I'm thankful for. I tell you, before everything happened, before the pandemic, I flew every week somewhere. I don't like to fly now. So that's just simply because the airlines are more frequently losing luggage, flights are getting delayed, canceled even, and leaving people stranded, and I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm not. Okay. Coralie, my favorite serger thread, quite honestly, is Madeira. It produces less lint, and it is a strong enough thread you could actually use it in your sewing machine, to stitch with as well. Madeira Aerolock thread is my favorite brand of serging thread. If you don't have access to that, I also like the tried and true Maxi Lock. I use Maxi Lock also, especially they're woolly. I really like their Maxi Lock stretch. But those are the two that I use. Okay. I'm going to go back. I'm going to let this dry for a moment. I'm going to go back to my other camera. Hold on. Hello there. So, whoo-wee. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes for all of these corners to dry. Then we'll get that one stitched down. And let's see how we doing on. Oh, we're doing good on time. I might be able to do one more. I have one more of these that I have the binding cut for that I would like to get. Yes, Donna. It's really a cool thing to see, and what that is for the general public does not get to go to that. That is for retailers only. Okay. That's where we go. I will be there in classrooms and we'll be teaching retailers about how to use some of the new products and stuff like that. I'll actually be in the Solaris room with Karen Parker, and we'll be going over the design suite add-ons that you can bring into IQ Designer on a Solaris. I'm going to be Karen's helper. And I'm so happy about that. Karen Parker, everybody, is a very, very talented digitizer. And she and Mike Johns have created they have the ones that have created all of those design suite designs that just started coming out this year. Give me some water, then we'll get started on this one. Okay. Let's see how this one is doing. It could stick a little bit longer. Let's put that back on. I forgot to put my pin into the corner where I started. So I'll just do a test. Oh, that's probably it right there. It is holding really well. So this is where we're going to start. I'm going to swap back to our close-up camera. No, Linda, he does not. So since we are not a Baby Lock retailer, well, we do not have access to that in-person education. Mike went before when we were in Colorado, and he worked for a large Baby Lock and Bernina retailer out there. That's how he went to both Baby Lock tech training and Bernina training to work on the machines. But we do have access to the updates on the tech side, so he stays current that way. They have approached us about becoming a Baby Lock retailer. We just haven't went there, at least not yet. Don't know that we will. All that fun stuff. So I'm going to put on I'm going to go back to, let's see, we are using this foot right here. Well, Christina, if I will do some type posts in Facebook, but if it's a video, it will be right here on the YouTube channel. Okay. So the foot I'm going to use is Sarah Gallejos's quilt binding foot. Let me go back to my other camera. There we go. This is the foot I'm going to use right here, the quilt binding foot. Let me take this out of the plastic. That is BLSA QBF. There's the card for it right there. Might be easier to read. There's the foot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach my foot. I still have my straight stitch selected. And what I'm going to do with this foot, looking at the foot on the machine to my left, that is the side that rides deeper, and you butt the edge of the binding right up to the mark on this foot. So for instance, let me hold it up like this. It'll just be easier for everyone to see. Hold on. Let me put me another clip on down here. Hold that in place. But this foot will ride right like this. Okay? Right there, there's a little mark right there at the end of my fingernail where I'm touching that. That is where the folded edge will butt up against the lip as it travels down and keep it nice and smooth. This is an awesome foot, everybody. Oh, Don, I know you have the latest IQ Designer as well. I'm saying it might be something on that USB stick that's causing your issue. Another thing you could do, Donna, is take the USB stick out, then turn off your machine, let it set off, power it back up, and then after it's all powered up and your screens are up and everything, then stick that USB back in and try it that way. I hope that made sense. Okay. So, straight stitch, 3mm length, just like before. Let me move this over a little closer. There we go. There we go. I like this method better than anything I've used so far, actually including the walking foot. But we'll see. This is a great foot. And I always forget, I don't keep it out, and I normally use that digital dual feed to do this part. But boy howdy, this foot makes a huge difference. It's so nice and smooth. It really grabs all of these layers of fabric super duper well. And it just gives it such a nice finish. I mean, look at that. Nice and straight. I'll get you a closer up view once we get this one done. So kudos to Sarah Gallejos for designing this foot. Girl, you did good. Okay. go. That's how easy that was. This just really makes it easy to attach your binding and get a really good result. And it has a wide, this is not just for straight stitch only, so you could use a decorative stitch to do this as well if you wanted to. And everybody, if you're watching, please remember whenever you watch one of my videos to hit that like button. That really helps out with my videos being placed higher up in search windows here on YouTube. I'd certainly appreciate it. I know a lot of you already do that. Just a quick reminder that that is one way you can support the channel, just by hitting that like and subscribe button. Because that's what YouTube looks at as to how well it will place your videos in search windows. Looking good. Woohoo. So I definitely like this foot better than the V foot. I didn't care for the, I really honestly did not care for the V foot when it comes to doing binding. But for seams, for piecing, or especially for garments, it's a wonderful foot for that. But not so great for quilt binding. Just my opinion. Oh, thank you, Allison. I know it's easy to get really involved in a video and forget to hit that like button. But whether you're watching mine or somebody else's video, that's always a way you can help out that creator, is by hitting that like button. Then tonight's episode, we're going to be starting a new quilt top. And it is a Colorworks pattern. Hold on, where'd I put it at? Right here. Just talk about this real quick. Right here. It's Colorworks Mod Dog. Okay. And these patterns are still available at your local quilt shop. If you have trouble, you can also find it on Amazon. If they don't have it at your quilt shop, or if you're really and truly interested in the pattern, you can email me, let me know, and I will get some ordered in, and then I can ship them out to you. Okay. Actually purchased mine when I was still with AccuQuilt. I was up at Sarah's store in Michigan, and she had this beautiful quilt kit, and I decided to purchase it to bring home, and now 4 or 5 years later we're going to make it live on camera. And we're coming down to the end here, everybody. And that one is complete. Yeehaw! Doop-de-doop-de. Now let me trim that thread while I'm thinking about it. What's on my mind? Okay, then we'll get a better look at this. See that binding right there. And that's with the quilt binding foot. For the top stitching part, that's a great foot. I really totally dig that. And I really like using to attach it this straight stitch foot that comes with this machine and other machines. You can, if it doesn't come with your machine, you can purchase this foot separately. But this is a foot that comes with machines that have where you can have a straight stitch plate, because this was designed to work with the straight stitch plate. I did not put my straight stitch plate on, but you get much more precise straight stitches when you use the straight stitch plate with this foot. And I hope that made sense. In the back. Let's go to another camera view. Where are you at? Right here. Let's go to this one. Here we go. And now you can see. See that. Okay. Beautiful straight stitch on the binding. There's the back of it. There's all the beautiful serger embroidery. This is actually my free motion quilting, and I used a thread. Now, this is not actual quilting thread. This is marketed as embroidery thread, but it was Fantastico by Superior, and it really made a beautiful quilting thread. I mean, look at that thread. It's a variegated thread, but it's perfect for this little quilt top. For the quilting, I use, and this is a shiny trilobal polyester. It's really strong thread. That's what I used on the top on the quilting, and on the back I used my Magna Glide pre-wound long arm bobbin, 60 weight thread on the back, and that is a 40 weight thread on the top. There's that little jewel right there. Isn't that pretty? So everybody, that is what I have prepped for right now. And tonight at 6, we'll be back on here and we're going to start our Mod Dog quilt top right here. This is what I'll be we'll begin the construction of on this one tonight. I cannot give out measurements because this is not my pattern. This is of course a copyrighted pattern. However, what I'm going to piece first are these 2 side panels. I have all of those pieces cut. And then on the next episode, I will piece the different sections for these applique dogs. And what's really cool on the collar, and I'll show you the actual fabric tonight, it is actually Kaffe Fassett ribbon that is cut, and then we'll attach that after the dogs are appliqued down on that base fabric. Well, thank you, Allison. Yeah, this is something I love to do this. Actually doing this is the reason I purchased the Euphoria. I already had the Triumph and the Evolution, but I purchased the Euphoria so that I can have the Triumph set up for one type of cover stitch and the Euphoria for a different type, and then I don't have to be constantly changing needles and everything, because there's chain stitch, narrow cover stitch, double cover stitch, triple cover stitch, and it's just faster. It was faster for me to have a couple of machines, and I love doing this. Oh, thank you, Glenna. But everybody, I will see you tonight, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Those of you in the Southwest, stay safe and keep your eye on the weather, and especially look out for flood warnings. And if you get a flood warning, heed the warning, okay? If they tell you to get out of the way, evacuate somewhere if it comes to that, okay? With a hurricane, it's not the wind that gets you, it's the water. I've been through it, okay? Everyone be safe. I'll see y'all tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Bye.